The True North, the racing podcast, is presented by Vision 20 Studios. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, John Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unmask? Unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to John Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
Welcome back to a new episode of the True North Racing Podcast presented by Vision 20 Studios. I'm your host, John Morrison. As you guys can see tonight, I am riding solo. It has been one crazy week. As you guys know, last week we didn't get a chance to air a new episode, and that is because we were at Motorama all weekend long. So, of course, by Sunday night, I'm too tired. I do not want to host another podcast. Last weekend, I hosted 8 episodes of the True North Racing Podcast at the Toronto International Center for Motorama 2024. And we had a blast with every single person who came out, who helped us, and who came up on stage, met a couple new people as well. And, it really helped us showcase what we all are about. And we're going to dive into that in just a little bit here. But if you guys are noticed, it doesn't sound like I'm 100%, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% right now. I came down with some sort of bug Tuesday, really. I woke up and my voice was just gone. Like, I was like, oh, it's from the weekend. I talked to, almost 8 hours on the show. And then on top of that, I also hosted the awards ceremony. I was like, you know what? My voice just tired. That's it. That's it. I felt, and then, Wednesday rolls around, and by Wednesday evening, I'm like, man, something's not right. And I threw up, and, I was like, I'm not feeling the best right now. So I went home on Wednesday night and I crashed, and I was in bed from, oh my God, from 5 o'clock, just after 5 till when I stayed asleep all night long. Like, I for the most part, I woke up a couple times, and then other than that, I was asleep the entire night. Like, I was done. I was out for the count. But I am feeling a lot better now. Still congested a little bit, so I'm hoping a good night's sleep again tonight will be uh the cure for that. But yeah, it's I haven't been feeling the 100%. But hey, I'm here. We're gonna do the show. Tonight on the show, we got we're gonna learn a little bit tonight, as we're gonna have Carson Wyatt joining us in just a little bit here. We're gonna talk road racing, the entry level road racing that he does. He gave me a brief description of it, and of course, I don't think I have that page open right now. So shall see if I do. Oh my God, yes, I do. This is gonna be awesome. This is gonna help us out. So just getting it brought up over here as well. Yeah, so for Carson, he let's get back up here. So for Carson, they are in the uh Lucky Dog Racing Canada. It's an entry level format that aims for a fun, no contact atmosphere, and the goal is to keep your car running and see the checker flag. Now they do some endurance racing, such as 8 or 16 hours per weekend. You have to have a maximum of a 2-hour stint per driver. They do 5 race weekends, and they run at Shanville, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and Calabugie. I really hope I'm saying that one, Calabugie or Calabugie Motorsports Park. But they get Porsches, BMWs, Miatas, FRSs, GT86s. Hell, apparently there's even an S10 truck out there. So yeah, we're excited to chat with Carson and learn more about it. But yeah, we're gonna discuss more about our weekend in Motorama. Like I said, we had 8 live shows over 3 days. Um, and even that, like we had a huge blast. We had our own booth this year, and not even ourselves, but like the podcasters of Ontario for the most part. We had stickers and scuffs. We had myself. We had the Feeney call, Brandon Feeney there. We had the guys from Wide World of Motorsports also be there. It was so much fun. So I did checkers or wreckers, and I was trying to do checkers or wreckers. But actually, so we finally got one at our 1 o'clock show on Saturday with Cody Wilds, and it was Cody versus Haley McNichol. And I thought my questions weren't hard, but apparently I was wrong. Um, and I these are stuff that I picked up either over the years or just Googling one night and just they just came across it and just stuck. Um, but of course there where the stages at Motorama is right next to the yesterday Speedways booth, and Rick Sharples heard me talking about these questions I had, and he came over and he handed me this book. Hopefully we can get that up here. It's called Remember When: The Early Years of Stock Car Racing in Southern Ontario. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And I have been flipping through this book since I got it, and it is such a great read. Um, Lots of great information. If you're a history buff like myself, that is you need to get yourself a copy of this. Um, they are for sale. I know that. I don't know. You got to reach out to Rick Sharples on Facebook. We'll put a link down in the description of where you guys can find him on Facebook, so you guys can get yourself a copy. Myself and Brandon Feeney both have a copy now. Um, I'll tell you why Feeney's won his here in just a little bit, but no, like it's got some really cool information about drivers, about tracks, abandoned tracks, lost tracks in Ontario that have now been since paved over. It's got information about that. Like I knew, so like one of my questions was about Richard Petty and Lee Petty. And Richard got his first start in racing in NASCAR in Canada. And so I asked that question in my thing, and then afterwards Rick came over and goes, "You had your question about Richard. Where do you got to start?" He goes, "Do you know what happened to Richard in that race?" And I go, "Yes, he got spun out by his father Lee." And he goes, "Racing at the CNE wasn't the first time NASCAR was in Canada." I was like, "No, it was also in Niagara Falls." So Rick, I guess, felt that I was worthy enough to look at this book, find some more information, and maybe use it for further checkered records because it's got so much cool information. So, like I said, go out there, pick yourself up. Remember when the early years of stock car racing. I will put a link to where you guys can find it as well. It is a great read. I highly suggest it. Yeah. So speaking of that, though, um, in the yesterday Speedway booth at Motorama, there was a slot car track. Well, if you guys haven't seen it already, the podcasters, myself, Feeney, and the boys from Wide World of Motorsports, got into a little bit of shenanigans, as you guys would like to know. That was we would like to say. Well, Feeney got the great idea, like let's have a competition style of doing slot car races. Okay, so we pick our setting, our brackets were set. Now we just need we were able to get Bryce Turner, who was filming us all weekend long, to be able to film it because the 6 o'clock show didn't show up. So we were able to have free reign of the um, camera and the mics for for the stage, unfortunately, and that was a bad decision. As we got Adam Ross to come over and announce this this the greatest slot car race ever. Uh, we had so much fun. Brandon Feeney took home the win for Joe Media. You guys could check it out. I'm going to put a link down here in the description below. I'm also going to recap a video here real quick um, up on the screen so that way you guys can go check, so you guys can see for yourself um, a couple clips of the action that you guys could have seen. Um, Also at Motorama, I gotta give a big thank you to Cam K from Stickers and Scuffs. He put a lot of the legwork in to help us get this booth, help us get set up to be able to do this year. So I got to give him a big round of applause. And, one of the things that he got for us was through his sponsor, Image Wraps. I got to reach off over here. So I didn't grab it close enough. But we had little table signs, and I thought these things were going to be little. No, these things are massive. Look at this thing compared to my head. If you guys are watching us on YouTube right now, but yeah, like this was on our table all weekend long and also on the stage. So if you guys see our videos uh from Motorama, you guys will see that that is on front of in the that is on the front of the table at the on the stage and in while we were at our booth as well. But yeah, I got to thank Craig Camrath from Image Wraps for putting that together for us. It looks amazing. It is. I'm gonna, man, I wanted to do something so bad, but I didn't get a chance to be able to do it all weekend. Um, I wanted to kind of recreate a scene from the movie called The Love Guru, where Mike Myers picks up Vern Troyer and goes, "Wow, I'd like to thank the Academy. Wow, these things are heavy." And obviously, without the whole put me down a-hole, I wanted to do that with that, but it's so cool. You guys can bet that's going to be at any live shows we do moving forward. It is remarkable. I love it. It's such a great piece that's now sits just off to my left here on the table. Um, it like I said, it is so cool. We all got one. Sticker and Scuffs got one. Wide World of Motorsports. It was a lot of fun. It was great all weekend long just to be able to hang out with the other podcasters, watch them work and show people that, hey, this new generation of media isn't afraid to work together to create a better to promote the small to promote the sport that we all love instead of trying to pick on one another, tear each other down. We're really trying to show that we're trying to work together. And I think that's one of the great things about all four of us really is that no one really butts heads with anyone. All our guests are different. The people we talk to, like I think the only time we ever had a real close incident was between myself and Stickers and Scuffs when one week we had Andy Camrath. They were on Andy Camrath was on Stickers and Scuffs. And the following week I had him as well. Other than that, that's been probably the only time it's been that close to having someone on the same week that then for one of the shows. But yeah, it was we loved it was great all weekend to be able to show people that we work together. We love working with each other. Um, it is one of the things I feel that's going to make us all successful is that we're not afraid to work with each other. Hell, we've partnered with Brandon Feeney over at the Feeney Call here with Joe Media. Like he's promoting drivers under our banner. Stickers and Scuffs, we're doing the same thing. We worked with them on a contest back in December to give away some bronze packages to some drivers of theirs. We're also, we got so much going on and it's so great. And I think that's why you guys get to see us all and when you guys see us work together, it's not that we definitely don't hate each other, that's for sure. We're all great friends and we're all people that we can get along with. And that's one of the great things about being on this side is that we're trying to show everyone that we can work together, that there's no um, animosity between any of the shows and stuff like that. Now, one of the fun parts was about Motorama last weekend was I almost went 3 for 3 on getting hats that weekend at Motorama, where on Friday I got a new hat. Brandon Feeney was gave me one of his Feeney Call hats. Then Saturday, so that's one hat. And then on Saturday, I was given a hat by Ollie Ferguson. He had a home hardware hat that he was giving out away from his car. I got it signed. I got it hanging up in my closet, which is the one with the Joe Media banner behind my head here. And then I also picked up a Racing with Autism hat, and I love the look of that. Holy crap! It is again. It's up in my closet now. Um, such a great, like I said, it was one of the greatest weekends we could have asked for as media personnel, as people who love this sport. And it was such a great show overall. And I can't wait to go back next year. We had Mike Thompson in there. We signed 4 drivers last weekend. So now we're up to a total of 45, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. Um, yeah, we're up to 45 drivers. Mike Thompson took home the mini stock, best looking at the show. I got to give it up to Mike. Mike has been, he reached out to us, asked if he would like to come, if he could be a part of the show. We paid his entrance into the show. He was able to kill it with a Dennis Thompson throwback, and I can't wait to see who wins the prize. But I don't know if it's been announced yet or not, but I can't wait to see who wins the prize pack from them, or the pit passes to opening night from Flamborough from them. But yeah, it's gonna be. It was great to also meet so many drivers. But speaking of drivers, we are at 45. I just announced on Facebook earlier today that if we make it to 50, if 50, we will give away a free gold package to a Jomo Media driver for next year. So only Jomo Media drivers who sign up before we get to 50 will have a 1 in 50 chance to take home a Jomo Media gold package for 2025. So five more drivers and you get a free package for next year. So we'll see what happens. You guys got till April 30th to sign on with us. But don't wait because we're cutting that off at 50 this year. We're cutting off at 50 to get into that prize pack. So reach out to us today and find out. And if you guys need to know more about us, feel free to reach out. My inbox is always open. joemedia.ca is also the great place to go. We got a promotions tab right up at the top. You guys can click that, go over to the promotions page, and you guys can see what packages we offer and what we can do for you guys. Like I'm working on a freaking ultra platinum package for next year, and I can tell you it's going all out for that package. But we're seeing who will see if anyone will bite for that one, but I don't know if they will. But yeah, and we're filling up our schedule this year. We had to move one date around. We had to move Cam Thompson from May 4th to June 8th due to a scheduling conflict on my end. Um, we got Ty Cavlin scheduled in for June 30th. I get to go to Sobel. So I know all my Sobel friends are excited that I'm going to be going up there. Just bring up my schedule. We're going to hang out with the Sutcliffes one time at least at Flamborough for Quick Championship night. But yeah, if you guys head on our homepage on joelmedia.ca, you guys can also check out our schedule to see where you guys are going to be finding me this summer at a racetrack near you. Um, I think that's enough about what I gotten up to for the last week here. But we are going to be bringing in this week's guest. We are going to chat with Carson Wyatt. But like I said, I'm excited to learn more about that. So let's get into our Graph Inc. Design Studio guest segment of the week with Carson Wyatt. Joining us this week in our Graph Inc. Design Studio guest segment of the week, we got Carson Wyatt join us. Carson, how's it going, man?
Great, great.
We're excited to have you. This has been a conversation. This has been an interview we've been trying to set up since like September of last year. But we're finally here. We're getting it done. Uh, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hopefully my audio is okay and you can hear me and everything, but uh, I'm not middle class, but I'm a worker bee, and I try to find a way to race. It's my passion. Don't have a lot of money, don't have a lot of skill, but I loved it, and I found a way to do it. And I hope today that I can educate people on how to do it.
Well, we're definitely excited to have you. How long have you been racing for?
I started out, so where I work, we have a ro racing program.
Okay,
It's free to join, but you have to put a lot of work in. I work for Honda,
okay,
and uh, you know, Mr. Honda said, if there's no racing, there is no Honda,
Yep.
right? So he gave me the opportunity, free of charge, to go learn how to build a race car. And then eventually, if I was did a lot of work, I was able to race, and it happened.
Nice.
It happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so you race in the Lucky Dog race in Canada, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a former champion as well.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that series?
That's an entry level door-to-door racing, and it's 8 hours long for 2 days. Uh, you can be the greatest racer in the world. Like you can go at the limit and put tires off or whatever, or you can save the car and bring it home again. It's all up to you, but you're going to be in a team of 4 people or 5 or 6. It all depends on what your gas tank's going to do for the 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's entry level, and you don't need a license. You don't need any qualifications, but you have to be safe.
Yeah.
And then, plus, you need your safety gear. But
So
it's
what kind of roll cage are in those? Do you have to build a full roll cage or is it just
oh, it has yes, it has to. The car has to be to spec,
okay.
and then
Uh
you guys can look up the specs on the website, right?
okay. Uh
Or if you want to be a race car driver, you could just walk up to a team and say, "Hey, uh, can I help out with expenses?" Or get like it's not going to be cheap, but
no.
anybody can anybody can do it. If you got your own self safety equipment, you'll be able to do it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I know some I got my own racing equipment I know that I have, so
Well, it might be something that you want to look at.
I know my buddy's been trying to get me into more rides. He last weekend at Motorama, he already got me allegedly into like three more rides this year. So I said, I'm like, I'm
What
getting
was
married next month. I can't worry about that right now.
so what was Motorama?
So Motorama is a custom car and motorsports expo that goes on in at the Toronto Pearson or at the Toronto International Center right across the street from Pearson Airport. And it has a bunch of like it's got a tuner section, it's got a back room, so it's got guys who bring in like hydraulic cars. This year there's actually again one of the cars I think that was in Trailer Park Boys. Um,
Oh,
the
cool.
the guys from
Wow.
Rust Bros Restorations drove all the way from BC out to Ontario in a frick was it a Chevelle? Yeah, they drove I think all the way here in a Chevelle.
Oh, 70s muscle car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in the racing corral all weekend long. So I'm in this area that's got just a bunch of race cars, like drag cars, road racing cars, a lot of asphalt cars. Um, it is such a great show, and it's like it happens every um March right by about just before like March break. Like it literally starts the weekend of March break.
Yeah.
Goes for the weekend and it's 3 days. Freaking fantastic show. I highly recommend. I talk about all of that. I
That's
recapped
that's
it all
what
at the
sucks
beginning.
about Canada is like we have like 5 months,
Yeah.
right? And then we have a lot of anticipation leading up to this time. But if we were in the States, down in the southern states, they can race whenever the hell they want,
Oh yeah.
right? So,
They get 1 month off.
yes, that's right.
Yeah, like up here, yeah, we feed off the energy of wanting to race all year round. And like we're like even guys up here, like we're not hitting the racetrack for another month.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
But
less than a month now. Less than a month now.
yeah.
They'll start opening up in April,
Oh
and
yeah.
they'll give it a chance. They'll say, you know what? If you want to rent the track, there might be snow. That's up to you guys, but you're not paying. Like July or June or May, June, July, and August. you're paying up front.
Yep.
But something like motorsport is going to say, hold on, don't pay for the track yet. It could be snowing
Yeah.
in April, right? So,
I mean, that's always the case. You never know
right,
when. Hell, this morning we were supposed to take the dog for a walk, and just before we left the house, friggin' like a snow blizzard came out of nowhere
yeah,
for 10 minutes. Like we couldn't believe it.
yeah.
Uh,
Nice class, nice class. I
I
like it.
know, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I had it filled with my Dr. Pepper too. Still trying to get
Okay.
a trying to get a show sponsorship from them. Um, but no, like honestly, it's yeah, we now with on the asphalt side, that is a bit different. We still have to pay no matter what. Um, but it is still it's one of those things. It's just it's getting so close to the race time, and we're all itching to go back.
Right,
And when Motorama comes, that's our kickoff. Like that's our unofficial kickoff that we know racing is right around the corner.
right on. Yep.
And if you've never heard of it before, like I highly suggest next year looking into it. Like I said, it is such a great event. It's 3 days long. They usually got some people coming in from different TV shows, hanging out, walking throughout the show all weekend. Like I highly recommend it.
Okay. Well, I gotta drop some names on what we do,
Okay.
and they they were on Motorama.
Oh, were they?
Yep. And I hope that it's okay that I drop these names.
Yep.
You might have to get these permissions after, but there's a few friggin' big names that actually I raced against,
Yep.
and I never even thought I would meet them.
Oh, really? Like who?
Yeah. Well, I told Elvis Stoico, hey man, I don't have fourth gear. So you know what? Don't if you're behind me, just watch me. Like I didn't go up there and ask him for an autograph or nothing. I
Yeah.
just, hey, my car is shit right now. So if
So
you're behind me, and it actually happened. Elvis Stoico almost rammed my car, but I got out of the way on the straight to Calabogie.
so you want to know something funny about actually the fact that you name dropped Elvis Stoico there?
Yeah,
Is remember that guy I told you about earlier, Stephen Riley, who I met at Motorama?
right.
He is driving for Elvis Stoico is driving for Stephen Riley this year.
Oh, okay. Then I do know Stephen Riley. I do because I talked to him.
So so
Yeah.
that is who because I met Stefan at the show because
W-
his car won
Was it a
something.
GT 86?
I think I didn't even get a chance to go over there.
Pretty
There
sure
was
it is.
I met Stefan only because I had a list in front of me of who won best appearing for the classes.
Right.
And his car won for the best Revolution car.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I
That's a
didn't know
funny.
any of those ones.
That's funny. That's funny that we just
That
put that together.
that connection just came
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah,
So we
that the
also we also have Russ Bond
okay.
from Motoring 90.
Yep.
Russ Bond is a absolute like endurance road racing anything cars. Like the guy's got cars out the yin yang.
Yeah.
But you know what? You want to walk up to him and say hi? He's your best bud. You know
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
Also, there's been a few hockey players out there that did CTC or SPC,
Yep.
and they've done sim racing. Right? I'll figure out the names later on,
Sounds good.
yeah, yeah, like and they're French.
So like oh shoot. Was it like a Patrice Bergeron?
No, I
Because
got pictured.
oh, because he raced NASCAR at one point.
I think it's
Was it Patrice?
Mark Mark Andre Bergeron. I think
That's
it's
what it was.
yes, Mark Andre.
Yeah.
A good defenseman. Not Patrice. Patrice
Yeah.
was probably the ultimate hockey player you'd ever want to see in your life.
Yeah.
But Marc Andre Bergeron actually drove in CTCC.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'll name drop who owned CTCC
Oh
is
yeah.
is John Barndar.
Okay.
John Barndar is probably you're gonna probably see him in the Canadian Hall of Fame of racing as a builder.
Okay.
Yeah, you will.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what we kind of went over this through messages setting this up, but uh what kind of cars do you guys race in your division?
Oh, it's anything, anything as long as it's got a cage, as long as it's safe, and you have. So we have a safety thing. So you have to have a fire suppression.
Oh, you have to have a fire suppression unit?
Absolutely. You have to have a roll cage. You have to have seats that are fully bolted down,
Yep.
5 point harness or 4 point, and you have to have a camera to be able to figure it out. Like nobody's going to go through the engine and go, you know, you, you got titanium rods or anything like that. There's no specs like that,
Okay.
but it's more safety over anything.
Okay.
And they do have their specs,
Yeah.
right?
Which ain't nothing wrong with, like, that's the one thing we always get, because like I know I on the asphalt side here, our pure stocks, they got to remain strictly stock. Like as they were pulled off the road,
Right.
you cannot change the computer unit, can't put a tune in the computer. Um, your roll cage can't exceed certain amount, but it has to cover so much and this and that. Um, so what really intrigued you into running this and into running with the Lucky Dog Racing?
So I'll get back to like all that spec stuff. So and the roll cage and everything else. We don't race for a prize.
Okay.
We race for a banner. So it doesn't really matter if you cheating. Doesn't matter. You're getting a banner.
Yeah.
You're not getting any money. You're not getting anything, right? If you're fast, you're going to be put in this bracket. If you're a little bit slow, you're going to be put in another bracket.
Oh, so you guys are actually in brackets.
That's right.
So
That's right.
you can be racing 40, 50 different cars, but in your own bracket, you could be going against 10, maybe 15.
Yeah. And
Okay.
those are Porsches, 944s, they're GT86, Honda Civics, Chevy Impalas, Nissan Altimas. You know what? If you can put a car on the track, you're welcome.
Okay.
So you see what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as you're safe, it doesn't matter. You you're not going to make $1 million by winning a race.
No.
You're going out there to have fun
And of
and
course, race with your
and
buddies.
be safe and be safe.
Yeah. So with obviously with the endurance racing, you got 8 or 16 hours. Obviously, that's a full day. You're putting a workload on that one there,
2 days.
over the course of 2 days.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so you guys run like 2 hour stints at a time, or is it like
That's
how does that
mandated.
work?
That's mandated. You can't go over 2 hours
Okay.
if you're a driver. And sometimes you know what? It'll probably be 30 something degrees out there.
Yeah.
If you don't have a cool suit, like that's going to be a long time. You're gonna get fatigued. You're gonna lose your concentration.
Yep.
As the tower will look down and say, "Hey, you know what? That guy's not safe. We're pulling him off. Change drivers."
Well, that's good that they can recognize as well that
Oh,
from the
absolutely.
track marshals.
Because the people in the tower are also racers as well.
Yeah. So you guys race at Shannonville, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and as well as how do you say that last one? Calabugie?
Calabogie.
Calabogie.
If you
Uh
ever want to do the boogie, you go to Calabogie.
uh so for you guys, like for your car, what is your time bracket like for you guys?
We it all depends on the driver. Like
Okay.
we have homologated 92 Civic with a K24,
Okay.
200 horsepower. In the right hands, it could be a higher bracket. Um, we tend to stay in the lower bracket, but we can definitely be in the middle bracket.
Okay.
It all depends. Like, hey, do you want your ass? Do you want your sphincter to actually pucker, or do you want just to bring it home?
Yeah.
It's all up to you, right? And you have 2 hours to figure that out.
I mean, that's all right.
Yeah.
Um, Now the reason we're really trying to we wanted to bring you on and promote this is because of the one of the laws here in Ontario is if you go above 40 over on an 80 plus road or 50 over on a highway 400 series highway, you get a fun little ticket called stunt driving. I myself have gotten one of those tickets in the past. Um, and it is not fun to pay. It is not fun to deal with insurance wise or anything like that. But one of the better things to do is obviously we don't want street racing happening. We need places to take, if you want to go out and race your friends, race your buddies, get to a racetrack. Doesn't matter if it's an oval track like we do, drag racing, or road course like Carson does here. You need to go take it from the streets, go to a track because those are your safest bets. There's going to be proper people there to protect your butt when you wreck your car. There's going to be the proper safety you are going to have to use. Now, that safety, if you neglect to use and you get caught doing that on the highway, your fine is going to be more than your safety equipment that you just need to go and to go to the racetrack. Carson, do you have anything you want to add here before I go on
Well,
massive
and
rants?
the other thing is, if you're on the 400 series highway and you're doing 150 and you happen to crash, how long is it going to take for the emergency people to get to you?
Yep.
On a racetrack, they're there in within 10 seconds,
Yep.
right? And you know, God forbid that somebody gets hurt and it wasn't their fault. Like, how are you going to feel? You know what?
Yeah.
Spend spend $45. Go to an autocross event. That's in a parking lot in a right. You're probably only going to get out of second gear,
Yep.
but it's going to be fun as hell, and it's going to get all that emotions, all that anger, everything that's it's going to get it out of your system.
Yep.
But the 400 is does not.
And that's what these events and that's what we stress about enough is we don't want people racing on the highways anymore. No one wants to see that. Like
That's right.
we saw recently on the 427 just south of Bolton, um, where they had blocked off the highway so they could street race. Like that ain't safe at all.
Uh, oh, I missed that one.
So you missed
Who who
uh,
who blocked it off?
bunch of people who wanted to go street racing. They
Oh,
blocked
okay.
off
So
the
it
427
wasn't
at one of the
illegal.
exits.
It wasn't an illegal event.
It was an illegal event.
No, I said it wasn't illegal.
Yeah,
Like the town would say, hey, we're just gonna like Vegas, right?
yeah,
Like Vegas had F1 there.
yeah. No,
Well,
no, no.
they shut down the strip and everything else. That's what they can do.
Yeah,
So what you're telling me is that like a bunch of kids or no,
we always go to that kid. We always go to that
I'm
kid
sorry
thing.
for saying that. Or a bunch of people just said, hey, you know what, we're going to block off the whole 427 just to have a
That
drag race?
yeah,
Are you kidding me?
they blocked. I'll see if I can find that
Wow.
article. They
Wow.
blocked off a portion of the 427 right at the exit, and they blocked off so that way they were forcing you off the highway at that exit. You couldn't get on there, and then they had
Really?
cars lined up down like this was planned.
Wow.
This was thought like
Yeah,
that
they
scene
should have
from
all been arrested for that one.
you
Wow.
know you know that scene from Fast and Furious for that opening
Yeah,
drag
yeah,
racing scene?
yeah.
It looked like that.
Wow.
Um, but that's the thing, guys, is we have racetracks in Ontario
Yeah.
for you to go race at. We have Shannonville, we have Calabogie, we have CTMP. They have track
We
days
have
too.
Sunset. We have Sunset. We have Flamborough. We have
Yep.
you can name off your tracks as well.
Oh yeah, Delaware, Peterborough, Sauble, like there's racetracks
Do
to,
it
and
there.
some guys even some of these tracks have um
Shannonville has
spectator drags.
yeah, Shannonville has a drift track
Yep.
and they have a drag track. Just call
Uh,
up Dominique and John Mardner
yep.
and they will accommodate you guys for all that stuff. That did not have to happen on the 427. That's
No,
bullshit. Yeah, that was bullshit.
you could have rented out the track for a day and you could have had as many races as you want.
Actually, you could have made money.
Yeah.
You could have said, "Hey, I'm going to organize this."
Yeah.
Right? Call
Uh,
up John or Dominique and said, "Hey, how much do we need for the drag strip?" They'll probably
yeah.
say on a different amount of money.
All
But if
depends
you
on what it
it,
all
but
this
if
what
you
they would need.
charge like 500 guys to go rip up down that track, and you made money.
Exactly. Like
But
there's no excuses to not find your local racetrack.
absolutely, there.
Hell, I found someone on crap, was it TikTok or Instagram recently? There was a guy who posted a video and he was racing in the Indy Lights division in Toronto because I could see the CN Tower in the background. And the
Nice.
guy comments and goes, "Where's their racing in Ontario?"
I have no
So
idea, right?
me being the person I am, hey, there is so many racetracks that could fancy whatever you're into, from oval to drag racing to road course. We have you covered, all within maybe an hour and a half drive outside of downtown Toronto.
We also have another province right next to us
Yep.
that are crazy about racing.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely crazy about, and Quebecers, I friggin' love it. I love their passion for racing.
Oh yeah.
They got iCar, they got, there's so much more. Saint
Oh yeah.
Eustache, like
Yep.
it's and they're
Three
so
Rivers, you know.
like me and you are from Ontario, right?
Yep.
Cross the border and see how passionate those people are.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It's there's people who have passion for racing, and the way I see it, there's no need for it to be on the street.
That's
It,
absolutely
it
right. Yeah.
we need to keep it to the track. Whether you build a car for the tracks for a road course event to make it go the fastest it can go in a quarter mile, or even see how long you can go in an oval track race.
Yeah.
There's always something for everyone to fancy. And for Christ's sake, CTMP, I would love to. I want to go rate. I want to go drive around that track just once, just to say I've been on CTMP for one,
Okay.
for
Well,
two
I
because it
can
was a
make that.
past.
I can make that happen for you if you pay for the gas and the tires. I can make that happen for you. I can make it happen for you.
Oh, I think it'd be a lot of fun, but just for the fact that it also held F1 races at one point.
Uh-huh. Well,
Like
there's a corner named after an F1 racer.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I
And there's a track in Quebec.
that's named after an F1 champion.
Yeah, and they still race it.
Yep.
They still race it.
And now I'm really hoping NASCAR comes back because my fiance has told me that if they go to Montreal, we're going. So
All right. Well, NASCAR trucks actually drive
yep,
CTMP.
they used to drive
And
CTMP.
there's
Yep.
80,000 people that go to that just for
I know.
NASCAR trucks. Like, come on. There
It,
is passion. There is passion here. Just leave it off the streets, guys.
yep.
Just leave it off the streets.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things. This is going to sound really stupid, but it's one of those things that I really wish they would allow during the week of the Toronto Indy. is, but the problem is the course is so tight, so like you couldn't get away with it. Is allowing like a because I think it's Thursday night they block everyone in, and that should be the night that you want to come drive around the track from 7:30 p.m. till 11:30 p.m. Go rip around.
Okay.
Now I you can't get away with that because of how
So
tight that track is.
I'll tell you a story why that cannot happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, I've been how I started out with Honda and a race team. Okay,
Okay.
so we used to be the little show before the big show.
Okay.
So I went to F1 free of charge because we were the little show before the big show,
Yeah.
right? Like F1 happens, you see it on TV, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on before, right?
Yep.
So our race series was before F1. One of us forgot to torque the drain bolt of the transmission. So uh, our driver went up the back straight and dumped transmission fluid all over the track. Guess who's not allowed to back on the F1
Yep.
track? Yeah, right? That's what happens.
Yeah, and especially when they need a weekend to go almost perfectly,
Right.
you cannot have an incident like that.
But it was a
Uh,
simple mistake, right?
oh yeah, it
It was a
happens.
simple mistake.
It happens, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, when people who demand perfection don't see it,
Well, that's racing, right?
exactly right.
If you're on top of the game, if you're on top of your game, you have to have perfection.
Yep.
But if you want your car to last, then you do what I do.
Uh, we talked about it a little bit earlier. You kind of made a note to it. There's different levels to the style of racing that you guys do. You guys have autocross. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the different styles of road course racing that involves the cars you run?
Okay, so we'll start with autocross. Probably the cheapest thing that you'll ever want to do. Now, well, the actual cheapest thing that you can ever do is race down the 400 or 401 or whatever county road or whatever, and think you're a race car driver, but you're gonna mess up with people, right? People are not gonna realize what you're doing. Or you can pay $50, join a race club, and go through a parking lot through a bunch of pylons. That's called an autocross. Next step is lapping. It's a controlled environment. You can take your regular street car. Doesn't have to be a manual, doesn't have to be like you can have paddle shifters or you can have an automatic, but it's controlled. And they'll tell you where you can pass or a point to pass or whatever. It's controlled. And then the endurance racing, entry level, gonna cost you a few bucks, but it's entry level.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you screw up, they're gonna kick you out if you're not safe. But you're racing door to door at speed,
Yeah.
right? So then there's after that, you're gonna have to look at whether you want a racing license or not. You have to go to a school, get your racing license, and then prove to them that you're allowed to be on the track after that.
Yeah.
Right? This is all road racing I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then so after that, you got super production challenge. You got FEL. You got uh F1600s. You got, name it, name it. Or
Yeah.
do you want to go to the States and race their thing? But there's something for everybody. And if you want to be a racer, it can happen. It can happen. It doesn't matter how much money you got or whatever, but just leave it off the streets, guys.
Yeah.
Leave it off the streets.
Yeah. That's all we really want is just is to not see racing on the streets anymore.
And then on the other side, like I know Doug Butler
Yep,
very well. I've interviewed him. He's an oval guy,
yep,
and I love that stuff too. I would love to be able. I said to Doug, I said, "Hey, how about we just swap? We just swap for one day. You do the road racing, and I'll do the oval. I'm not going to hop in Doug's car and try to think I'm Doug.
yeah.
No way, right? Like that guy knows what he's doing.
Hence why he's the Sunset Speedway mini stock champion.
Absolutely, right? But we'll talk. We'll talk. We'll talk. But I would never put his car or his work or his money in jeopardy.
Yeah,
I'll probably finish last, and that's okay with me. But I tried it.
yep. It's definitely a lot of fun. Like I got to try drive my first race car last year.
Okay.
My buddy and my fiance put together a little plan, and I already had a helmet. I won a helmet in a raffle a couple years ago, and then my buddy bought me a fire suit, my gloves, shoes. Then my fiance bought me the Hans device just so I could go try bone stock. And I went out there and I'm like, I don't care how fast I go. All I know is I'm coming out here, I'm giving it a shot, and I'm gonna just enjoy myself. And
And
that's all you got to do
when
sometimes.
you got out of that car, when you got out of the car, what can you say you were? You were
I
a
got
race car
I
driver.
got to say as a semi-professional race car driver.
That's right. Not a lot of people can say that.
No. And again, my buddy's now trying to hope for a freaking three-car battle up at full throttle between the podcasters and like there's a couple divisions I want to try personally, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit into the car. That's my issue.
All right.
Like I'm a bigger guy, so like, but the
That's fine.
cars
It
I
doesn't matter. It doesn't
no
matter.
no the cars I want to run are a little on the smaller side.
Hey,
That's the problem.
no, it's not a problem.
But
There's always
I
a
don't know.
fit.
We'll
There's
see.
always a fit.
There's always a fit.
There's
I
always a
know.
fit, and you know what? If you need a different seat, you might have to buy it.
Oh yeah.
But what's it going to cost
Well,
you? It's going to cost you
yeah.
a lot less than a
Oh
racing
yeah.
charge,
Oh yeah. It's gonna
right?
cost me about $500, I think. So,
Yeah, not a big deal.
but no, it was so much fun. Even just getting a chance to try a race car, like to just drive a race car. Um, and again, it made me realize, like, first of all, the stupid shit I did when I was 18, 19. Yeah, it put me in, there's a reason why I'm still paying the insurance I am to this day.
Right.
It's gone down quite a bit, but still
Yeah.
not where I want it to be. But
But what would be worse? Somebody got hurt? That would have been a lot
exactly,
worse, right?
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I've heard of, like, my brother got into an incident where a guy ran a stop sign one time. And if my brother didn't stop, like try stopping,
Yeah.
he could have seriously injured those kids
Yeah.
that was in the back of his car, or not his car, but the guy he hit, because the other guy ran the stop sign.
Yeah.
It's not like my brother was speeding, but you know, it's stuff like that that we kind of need to take a step back and realize, like,
Yeah.
and of course, being around Brampton a lot, you see terrible drivers every day.
Yeah. That's
Like,
not their fault. It's not their fault.
no,
That's
no,
so basically what I'm saying is if I can get to the point of this whole thing, it doesn't
yep,
matter that I race or whatever. It's that I realize that when I put my cruise control on at a certain speed, I'm doing it because everybody else around me.
yeah,
I have the option to take my speed demons or my anger or my road rage. I can take it somewhere else.
yep,
That's my message here with you, and I thank you for giving me the avenue and the platform to be able to say that.
no problem.
Okay.
It was, like I said, it was a pleasure. Like, it was a great thing that you reached out, because or else we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, I'm so glad we did.
Um, what I do want to get into, though, is we do have a couple of I put out earlier today on Facebook and Instagram that you were joining us tonight on the show, and we got a couple of fan questions. You up
Oh,
for answering a couple?
is it your fans or mine?
Well, it's just fans of the show. I got one guy on here. He
Yep.
always asks questions. Doesn't
Okay.
matter who it is.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm game. I'm game.
All right. So we got our Taylor to You media design fan question period going on right now. First up, we got William underscore Trillium. What track would you like to race at?
My ultimate track is Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a pretty cool track.
Yeah.
Uh, any particular reason why or
Oh. So when I first got the bug of racing,
yep.
I did it with a controller
Yep.
on Xbox, and I mastered that track with with a controller. And then I joined a race team, and I said, you know what? I don't want to do what you do. I do it on a video game. It scares the fuck out of me. We can't swear.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, we can edit that out. I'll say it scared me what you do when I'm talking to the race car driver. But I said I love Road Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I love Road Atlanta.
All right. And then our next question comes to us from Brandon Feeney. He goes, "What is the difference between preparation for a dry anticipated condition compared to a damp or wet track?"
The preparations are some people want to drop their rear bar, right? So you have a rear bar. Some people like to disconnect the what do you call that? Right now, but you definitely have to be slow. Like you're gonna drop 20 seconds
Yeah.
if it's raining, and we drive in any conditions. There's been times that we actually drove in a torrential rainstorm.
Oh, jeez.
I thought the race would have been canceled, but we kept going. And at Shannoville, they had a river going across just after like the start finish line.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And you know what? 40 cars kept doing it. Nobody went off the track. Or nobody people went off the track all the time, but it was
Yeah.
like 40 cars pretty much finished the race.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's even impressive still.
yeah, no race gets canceled, no matter, even if it's snowing for some
Yeah.
reasons, right?
That's just crazy.
It's not crazy. It's
Oh,
it's
because in
it's
the asphalt
it'll
world,
teach you. It'll teach you. It'll teach you how to be pretty cool. It'll
in
pretty
the asphalt world, we get enough right downpour, races are canceled for the night.
yeah. I get it. I get it because you guys are on slicks, right?
Yeah,
We
for the
have
most part.
we have we have treaded tires,
Yeah,
or we can put on rain tires, right? It all depends on what your budget is, right? Like we usually run RS4 Hancocks,
okay.
right? And it's not the greatest for throwing water out, but you can have a set of rain tires. I got some Toyos that will disperse the water.
Yeah.
But hey, it's all on your comfort level and what you have to spend.
All right. Well, that's going to
Well,
wrap up our, or just before we continue on here, that's going to wrap up our fan question period. Of course, we got to thank Taylor to You Media Design for sponsoring that segment of the show. And of course, we got to thank everyone who submitted questions. Make sure you guys tune in every Sunday to find out who our next guest is so you guys can be a part of our fan question period
I'll be
here
watching. I'll be
on the True
watching
North
for
Racing
sure.
Podcast. Uh, but yeah, like each week we always throw that out there just because it's a lot of fun now. I haven't done that the past week, and then the next few weeks are going to be weird just because I'm getting married and I got a concert a couple weeks later.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Congratulations. Thank you.
thank you. I'm excited for it.
Who's the
Yeah,
lucky lady?
my fiance Jacqueline, she's been incredible. She's been in my life for oh goddamn 6 years. So
Wow, Jacqueline's a lucky lady.
I'd I'm lucky to have her. That is for sure. She puts up with my stuff. Like right now, I'm currently in our bedroom and like she could be lying down in bed getting ready for work tomorrow, and here I am recording the show. So,
Right. That's awesome.
um, but yeah, as we continue on here, like it's yeah, the damn conditions to me, like it's just it blows my mind sometimes to realize that like some other divisions still run in the rain, and to even have that set of tires next to you, like you like you say, you just throw some Toyos on just to help you disperse the water, right?
Yeah,
It's definitely different, like compared to us. Like our pure stocks are the only ones who still run a street tire.
right, right.
So for me, it's just like when if there's a rain out, not even a rain out, even if it just rains just a little bit, the track will call the pure stocks out on the track just so they can go dry the track.
Yeah. So there was one time for me, I rented. So you can also do that too. If you want to rent out a car, you can do it. It's going to cost you. So I
Yep.
rented it a Porsche, and I didn't even realize they just said, "Hey, you know what, Carson, you're going to go out there and do the track." I had no idea that I was on slicks.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was like a 1987 Porsche 944.
Oh boy.
And I pulled in, got out of the car, took my helmet off, my hands off, and they go, Carson, you know what? You're a part of this series. You just went out there on slicks, and we don't allow slicks, right? If you have slicks, you go up to Super Dog,
Yeah.
right? And I said, I didn't even know, but I brought that car home.
I mean, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Um, so as we get gearing up here for the 2024 season, uh, what is your guys' schedule look like? So that way, if anyone wants to come out and take a look at this thing,
Well,
um,
you're gonna have to look like I'm not affiliated with anybody.
okay,
All I'm talking about is road racing,
yeah,
right? Keep it off the streets. So you can look on the websites or Google it. Do you want to do autocross? Do you want to do lapping?
yeah,
Do you want to do Lucky Dog? Do you want to do SBC or whatever? I don't have that information that you're looking for,
okay,
but it's available,
okay,
right? I'm just putting a different spin on it
yeah.
because you're mostly oval, and you know what? I would love it if I got a 600 horsepower friggin' like the last guy that you were talking to. My God, he was so articulate, and he was in a friggin' monster of a car.
Which one was
It's
that then?
all what you want. It's all what you want.
Trying to remember who the last person I had that would have had close to that amount.
Look it up. Look it up.
I had Roy. Roy has a 350. Jay's got 350.
I kept I
Oh my God.
I might be exaggerating, but like
Mm.
when you were talking to him, I thought he was driving a 600 horsepower friggin' monster.
I'm going back through it. No one. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
who it would have
I was
been.
probably exaggerating. I was
Yeah,
probably exaggerating. Okay, so
it's all
300,
good.
300, whatever. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember. Like, I don't remember anything like that, but that could be wrong too.
But
So,
it was him and his family and his wife that put all this stuff together. I don't know if you can remember that.
him, his family, his wife.
Oh,
Oh,
he absolutely like, and that's the other thing is like it's your family first,
yep,
the community, and then your race car. That's three things that's going to be able to, and wow, the fourth thing is money,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. That's the thing that makes everything go around, right?
That's right. That's right. But the other things are pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So we're I'll find this information out later, and I'll put the link down in the description on YouTube, so that way you guys can find it down there to see where if you guys are interested in getting into some road racing and want to find out more information, we'll put the website down below, and maybe a Facebook page if you guys have one, and then that way we can uh, help people guide people towards where they can find it, so that way they can give this a shot. Because heck, man, I'm kind of hooked. I kind of want to go out there now and try one.
Yeah. And keep it off the streets, guys. Keep it
Yeah,
off the streets.
Um, yeah, that's all we want is we don't want to see any more of these stunt driving tickets. Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't even flirt with it anymore. Like it's not even important anymore.
Yeah. Your your
It's
cruise
just
button, your cruise button is your safety.
yeah.
Put it on cruise, guys. Put it on cruise.
Oh yeah. Just go for a nice Sunday drive and just don't go stupid out there.
Yeah.
Um, before we let you go here, is there anyone you want to shout out? Is there anyone you want to uh thank? Is there any final words you want to add in here?
Oh, I would love to thank Honda, of course. Right? That's big. They're not going to care about that. But you know what? Visit these tracks, guys. Visit these tracks. Go to CTMP. Right? We all know who owns that one.
Yep.
Go to Shannonville. Say hi to John Bondar and Dominique. Right? And have a good time. You can do drifting. You can do uh, drag racing, or you can do whatever. Right? Like lapping or whatever.
Yep.
Go to go to probably the most gorgeous track in Ontario with elevation, with trees, with probably the best views you'll ever want to see is Calabogie. Calabogie Motorsports Park. And and then slip over to the border and say hi to your French friends because they are racing enthusiasts. They are racing nuts. They might not speak our language, but if you hop in a race car next to them, they're going to love you.
You're not wrong there.
Hmm.
Um, but it's definitely been a lot of fun chatting with you for the last little bit here and getting to know you. Uh, hopefully we'll continue our conversation. Well, hopefully we'll talk more, and I'll come out to a race this summer and check you guys out.
Okay, perfect.
Well, hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, we'll catch you later. Okay.
See you. Bye-bye.
And we're back from our conversation with Carson Wyatt. We got to thank Carson for joining us this week on the True North Racing Podcast. Um, it was great. It was a lot of fun chatting with him, getting to know him some more, and finding out more about the different kind of road racing there is here in Ontario. Oh, sorry guys. Like I said, I'm still not 100% here, so I'm going to keep this outro pretty short. Next week is going to be our final recording show until after the wedding. So uh, I'm blanking right now, and I kind of feel bad. I'm going to find it here in just a second. That next week we are going to have Don York join us on the show. So we're going to have Don York talk to us about the bone stock days down at Delaware, the enduro, and how they got moved into some of the bone stock stuff down there. Oh, um, but yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna get out of here in just a second. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, uh, follow along. Thank you to all our sponsors who support us each and every week. Thank you guys for everything you do to keep the show running. Thank you to Vision 20 Studios for being the presenting sponsor of the show, Graphic Design Studios for bringing us our guest segment each week. And of course, thank you to Taylor to You Media and Design for bringing us our fan question period each week. Without them, this wouldn't be much of a show anymore now, would it? Make sure you guys go follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever they are located. Um, we gotta Man, yeah. So we got have dropped 2 episodes from Motorama, so keep an eye out for those. They're already airdropped, so go take a look at them on Facebook or on YouTube, and as well as Spotify, Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, Google, Apple, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. They're live there too. We'll be dropping a couple more over the next couple weeks here, so keep an eye out. We will be having an episode the weekend after the wedding, so April 9th will be the drop date of one of ours from from Motorama, so keep an eye out from that. And we'll also have one from after Easter as well. So keep an eye out for those guys. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and make sure you guys check out joemedia.ca. Again, we're 5 drivers away from 50, and then we get a nice big giveaway happening to one lucky Joe Media driver for 2025. With that being said, with that cough being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here for the day. Thank you guys for checking out the True North Racing Podcast presented by Vision 20 Studios. We'll see you guys next week. Bye now.
Hear the engine rooming by, smell the gas and feel the vibe, going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Hey, True North Racing, let's go.